want to talk about smoke and mirrors for a moment. The matrix, so to speak, that we're all living in. And you know, it's nothing new at all. I'm only reminded, well, after watching the news and so on, I remember when I was a kid watching The Wizard of Oz, and then many years later someone gave me a book, The Wizard of Oz, you know, Frank Baum. And then after reading it, I began to read up on who Frank Baum was. He was someone that wanted to stay on the gold standard rather than go on to the Federal Reserve during that time. And he wrote a lot of articles, and he railed against the taking the gold and silver out of our money, you know, putting us on this fiat currency. And of course, he wasn't called a conspiracy theorist, you know. The CIA hadn't invented that term yet, but he was called the equivalent of it, you know, at the time. So, like I say, nothing's new under the sun, you know. The Wizard of Oz was meant to show you the fraud in the Federal Reserve System. You know, there was nothing behind it. It was all smoke and mirrors. You know, that's why Dorothy was told to stay on the yellow brick road, you know, stay on the gold standard. If you got off of it, bad things would happen. And then they give her a little taste of what happens, you know, trying to put that in your head at the time. And when they get to the city of Oz, what's the first thing they see? The wizard don't want to see them. Well, they don't want, you know, in real life, they don't want to be audited. They don't want you to see what's going on behind the doors. But when they finally get inside, the first thing that happens, a big poof of smoke, and the wizard appears in a mirror. Again, smoke and mirrors. You know, Baum's trying to put that in your head that it's all a fraud. And he even took the most innocent of them all, the little dog. Finally, no one can figure out what's going on, but the little dog goes back and pulls back the curtain. What do you got? A little fat guy with bald head pulling the levers of power. He was a complete fraud. But just like, you know, like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. You take it back to today's time, and these phony politicians that we have, the phony elections, pulling the levers of power, you know. What did he do? Did he admit he was a fraud? No, he tells them all, oh, you need a brain? Here, I'll give you a worthless piece of paper that says you graduated college and now suddenly you got a brain. But if you're dumb enough to believe it, okay. Give you a heart, a plastic heart made in China. Yeah, now you got a heart. You know, it's the same old thing. A little metal and suddenly you're brave. It's all smoke and mirrors, you know. It's all a part of the wizardry. No wonder he called it the Wizard of Oz, because these media types, you know, I always say they're wizards of propaganda. You know, twist the minds of the people to get you to believe nonsense, complete nonsense. It's just like all these lockdowns that we're going through today. And you see people continuously, like they've found the Rosetta Stone. Hey, look here, Fauci said don't wear a mask, they're useless. Gives you all the reasons why they're useless. And then he turns around, you gotta wear a mask. We gotta go into a lockdown. Well, every time you go into lockdown, the cases go up. But somehow, going into a lockdown again, this time they'll go down, I suppose. I think you're in slave training's what it is, because every time they say jump, you say how high. Well, it never ends. And I don't know what the answers are to any of the problems we're facing ultimately. I guess the Lord will have to come back and straighten it out, but here in a couple more days, I'm hearing so many rumors that I like to get my predictions out a little early, because I don't want to be one of these guys that predicts what you've already seen on the news today, I don't know what'll happen, but I think this is the last week of our abnormality anyway. I think it's going to go completely silly after next week. And like I said, I couldn't remember in the last video, George Carlin, he talked about America. The whole world is like being in a circus and we get the front seat, and man, we're on stage with these idiots now. Again, all you can do is prepare for hard times, and I hope you take that serious, if nothing else. But if you look at everything that's going on today and you listen to the news media, now you gotta listen. You find out there was a bank robbery. That's what you know, the bank was robbed. The story behind it, you can count on the media lying to you 100% every time. So you got to figure out the motives and everything. I only watch the news to find out what happened, and it's about 90% of what they tell you, it's the opposite, going in the opposite direction, because they've lied to the point where they lie by nature. It's like breathing, inhale, exhale, they lie, exhale, lie. So, but I still have to listen to them, and sometimes I have to listen to the dirty side of the media, just to find out what they're plotting against us, what they're saying is good. That way I know to stay away from it, I hope all that makes a little bit of sense to somebody. But like I say, I hope you take your preparation serious, and if you're not, get with it now while you got the chance, because you never know when they're going to throw the switch, and lock us down with no power and no telling what. But you need water filtration more than anything else, and you need a source for even dirty water to be able to filtrate it. So think about that.